Today, we're taking it to the max. Good morning, YouTube. What's up, everybody? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. Now, if you didn't see the intro, today we're doing a full review of the Skechers Maxroad 5. My beanie matches the shoe. See that? This was a shoe that I really didn't know what to expect when I got it. I knew that a lot of people liked it, and I had heard positive things from other YouTubers, but I don't know. That doesn't always mean that I'm gonna like a shoe. And by the looks of it, I just thought that this was not gonna work for me for a number of reasons. But if you watched my first run impressions video, you know that that's not exactly the case, and I ended up liking the shoe quite a bit. Now, if you've watched previous full reviews that I've done, I go over the specs and I kind of give a rundown about what the upper and the midsole and the outsole are made of. Well, we're gonna stop doing that because I feel like it's redundant, and if you wanna see that information, you can see it in the first run impressions video that I'll link right here. Today, we're just gonna talk about how these components worked for me, how they held up over the course of 50 miles, and then I'm gonna rate the shoe out of 5 stars. So how much star power does this shoe have? We're gonna find out after the run footage.
Let you go, but have you really gone? Time moves slow. What are we waiting on? I keep your blood on my shelf, let it run. I worship the ground you're on. Now that you're gone and we've fallen out, I can't stop thinking you're all I go on about. These are the colors that come. These are the colors that come.
Before we get started today, I do want to let you know that this shoe was sent to me by Skechers. However, they're not going to see this video before you. They can't tell me what to say, and all of my opinions are my own. I was probably most skeptical about the upper when I first saw the shoe. I mean, there's really not much to it. There's some structure, but not a ton. It's made out of a material that I really haven't seen too much in other running shoes. And to be honest with you, it just looked dated. Like, it didn't look like it was gonna be super functional. Well, I kind of eat my words / thoughts about that a little bit, because over the course of 50 miles, this shoe has really held up pretty decently in the upper. I'm not really seeing any wear here. There's no tearing going on. The material is fairly breathable, which has been actually very nice in the winter months, because a lot of shoes that I'm testing out now are really breathable and they'll be great in the summer, but they're not great right now. As far as fit goes, across the midfoot of this shoe, it feels very snug and comfortable, not overly snug. And in that toe box area, I am feeling like I have enough room for my toes to kind of spread out, do their thing. You know, I wouldn't say that this is the widest platform. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this shoe to a wide-footed person. I think this is really more like your average to narrow end of the spectrum. So just something to keep in mind there. And another thing about the fit is that this is actually a women's size 10, and normally I'm a 10.5, but this shoe fits me perfect. Food for thought, maybe you want to size down a half size here. So yeah, not really too much to complain about regarding the upper of this shoe. Aesthetically, I really don't like the looks of it. I don't like any of the colors I've seen for this shoe, and I just think that it looks a little cheap, a little like Paylessy. No shade to Payless, but it just doesn't look like a running shoe to me. I know, that's kind of a silly thing, but it is a thing, so I'm saying it. Overall though, I dig it. The midsole of the shoe is where the magic happens. If I've said this once, I've said it a million times, but Hyperburst feels different to me in every single shoe that I try. I don't know why that is. Maybe there's some scientific explanation for it, but that's just how it is. And here in the Maxroad 5, this Hyperburst feels the best to me out of any Hyperburst shoe that I have tried so far. I don't know if that has to do with this H-plate technology that's in the forefoot of this shoe. It's a carbon plate, not exactly like a full length like you're thinking in like racing shoes. It's literally in the shape of an H, and it just sits in the forefoot and gives you a nice spring and toe off to help that Hyperburst just a little bit more. And yeah, I really, really love the midsole of this shoe. I think it is so versatile because you have a lot of it here. I mean, we have a decent amount of cushioning. You feel that cushioning, but it's not like a sink-in sensation like a Clifton or like the Fresh Foam War V3. I don't know, I'm thinking of really cushioned shoes. It's not like that. It's a more resilient kind of energetic, alive feeling foam that really does get you into your next stride. It feels lively, it feels nimble, all of those good adjectives. So you have a lot of cushioning, you have a pretty lightweight shoe here, and that just gives you the ability to do long distance runs if you'd like to do that in this shoe. And it also gives you the ability to go a little bit faster when you want to pick up the pace. And in my first run impressions video, I said that I did a couple of progression runs where I started out really easy and then I would pick up the pace and go a little bit faster by the end. And that's pretty much what I have been doing because I'm not really training for anything right now. I'm just kind of doing whatever I feel like doing. And some days I take it easy, some days I go tempo, some days I do progression runs. And anything that I've tried in the shoe, which has been all of it, has really not been an issue. The shoe really can handle anything you throw at it, which is why I love it so much. Not only that, but over the course of 50 miles, I have not felt any change in this midsole at all. I haven't felt it firm up, I haven't felt it flatten out, and I haven't felt it kind of sink and compress. None of that has gone on here. Another really great thing about the Maxroad 5 is that these shoes that are marketed as max cushion tend to be a little bit stiff and rigid, but this shoe is very, very flexible. So that's a positive there. If you want your shoe to kind of flex with your foot, how your foot's meant to flex, then you're really not gonna have a problem here at all. However, the one negative to the flexibility is that the shoe is extremely neutral, like really, really neutral. And it can tend to make you overpronate a bit, like this. Beep. I think because of how neutral this shoe is and how my foot strike really isn't so neutral, I was getting a little bit of a hot spot in the beginning of my relationship with this shoe, right on the ball of my foot, like on the medial side right here. I'm happy to report that really has gone away. I haven't felt that in my latest runs in the shoe, so that's good. But I do think that is a result of just the shoe not being very stable. And I think a theory with that too is I feel like this medial curve inward kind of goes in pretty deep. And it's not like the platform is really wide, so there's a lot of room for your foot to kind of move around. It's just spilling right over. I think this midsole is great for the person who does want a little bit more cushioning but doesn't like that sink down feel that so many of the running shoes in this class have. The outsole of this shoe looks a lot cleaner than it did before I ran today, probably because it's raining. Which reminds me, today was a very rainy day and I thought the shoe did hold up pretty well. There were some issues with sliding slightly, so I would kind of be a little bit cautious when taking this shoe out on a super inclement weather day. What kind of bums me out about that is that this is supposed to be Goodyear rubber, and I'm pretty sure I have Goodyear tires, or I did, or Goodyear services my car a lot. Anyway, Goodyear rubber, I would think that'd be pretty good, but there's already like a lot of wear in the forefoot of this shoe, and I'm just like, huh? Are my tires on my car wearing this bad? Regardless, on a normal day where there's not rain or snow or sleet or what have you, it's just a dry day, you're not gonna have any problems with this outsole. I'm into the placement of it. I think it really helps with the flexibility like we talked about earlier. And it also keeps the weight down, not having a full slab of rubber across the outsole of this shoe and just putting little pods where you need it. I love that idea. The Skechers Maxroad 5 is $129.95 on runningwarehouse.com, a very fair price for this shoe. I think for a shoe that's capable of taking you on all different kinds of runs without an issue, that $130 is kind of a steal, if you ask me. If you're interested in picking up a pair of the Skechers Maxroad 5, I'll put a link in the description of this video. Just click that link and pick up your own pair. Keep in mind this will be an affiliate link with Running Warehouse, however that doesn't mean much for you. It just helps out my channel so I can keep making these videos and helping you pick out a nice, fun, bouncy shoe with Hyperburst. If you can't already tell, I really like this shoe. There's really not too much negative to say about it, and the things that I do think are negatives are minor things. So for that reason, I'm gonna give this shoe 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think it's deserved. I think Skechers did a great job with the midsole of this shoe especially, and I don't know, it's just different from what else is on the market, and that is what the market needs. I see so many different shoes trying to copy one another and be this shoe and be that shoe and mimic, and that to me is not being done here. This is kind of its own thing. All right, so now let's throw up a screen with the pros and the cons. The pros, I have that it's lightweight, the upper breathability, the midsole feel, the versatility, and the price. For cons, I have this shoe's kind of ugly, the stability, and the outsole durability. So to wrap this up, I like this shoe a lot. And I hope that the Maxroad 6, whenever that comes out, is even better than this. Just goes to show you that it doesn't need to be a Nike, a Saucony, an Asics, a New Balance to be a really good shoe. And this is a really good shoe. No shoe is perfect. Of course it has its things that I wish were different, but I mean overall as a package, damn. Well everyone, that concludes my full review of the Skechers Maxroad 5. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit that notifications bell so you can find out every time I upload a new video. The mailman just came and he's definitely like, what are you doing in there? Just, you know, sit in front of a light and a camera talking about a shoe. Don't you do that? I have another video for you next week, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like Heller. See you next time. This is next to me, this jumbled pile of blankets, because this one has built herself a fort. Ruby, say hi. Say hi. Did you build a fort? Oh boy. Say bye. Run like Heller.